Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany. Starting in 1935, it's July 1955, and I think we are probably at the nadir of our budget at 535,000, call it 536, considering that at the beginning of this year it was 602. So I don't think it can fall any further. And considering our monthly balance is minus 200, I think we'll be fine. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a consolidation half year. So let's just rattle through the months, see what interesting techs come up for us, because there are some really significant ones that are due to fall pretty soon. The old regatta, I think we'll support it because although the tensions go down, the tensions are rubbish anyhow, and you gain prestige. And after monkeying around with my officers, there's no harm in increasing prestige to be able to mess around again later. Close to mastering aluminium superstructure. Okay. Or aluminum, if you prefer. Okay, Jeff dispensers. Yep, okay, I like that. Very happy with that. Not bothered with the Spanish at all. Very little news. Oh dear, one of our captains has shown below average ability. And our squadrons are still equipping. Let's just first of all go to our air groups and have a look at the latest carriers. So Ellie only has 35 out of 128. Von Hohenfeld has 51, and Warthausen has 112. So improving. All of their experience is poor. It's going to take them the rest of the year for production to come along. We are at the moment able to request proposals. So let's do that. We are in the middle of developing this Messerschmitt 231 heavy jet fighter. So what might we request? Well, we might request a jet attack, and again to go for reliability as the principal object of the exercise, because first generation always poor reliability. Okay, so the candidates for me are speed. Speed is good. Speed keeps it out of the way of the jet fighters. Maneuverability, I mean, it's nice, but it's, not that important. Range, obviously, is always a thing. Bomb load, I'm not bothered about. It'll have missiles that it can launch, so that'll be fine. Firepower, again, nice, particularly because our current firepower is 0, but it's not really what it's there for. Toughness is a thing. I think I'm going to go for speed and see what we get going for that. Then once we've done that, it may well be a new medium bomber or possibly a new naval patrol aircraft. You'll notice that we're only producing 5 and 7 of our jet fighters and jet attack respectively. Okay, good to have got that underway. Let's carry on. I might just want to have a fiddle. Some of you kindly commented about the organization of the carriers. I still not quite sure whether to organize the carriers in mixed groups or as dedicated big ones and smaller ones. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Trouble reaching design speed. This is like a really endemic thing. Very, very, very disappointing. We're not bothered for naval patrol. Top speed 200. Woohoo! And trouble grasping improved. Armor piercing cap and penetrator alloys. However, integrated radar direction of AA guns, improving heavy and medium AA effectiveness. Okay, very much liking that. That's a good one. And in the news, few question mark appointments for new captains with unknown abilities. A lot of rebuilding and commissioning of ships going on, but nothing of any great importance. Okay. I've scratched my head quite a lot and thought about how to reorganize the fleet, and I've come up with this organization. So fundamentally, we have two forces: the surface strike force with their screens, including the battle cruisers, and the two remaining heavy cruisers. And I've decided to assign two of the old carriers in Flug 3 in order to make sure that they have cap over them. I haven't adjusted their air group at the moment, but I may do shortly. Supporting these three big ones, 1 Leinen, 2 Leinen, and 3 Flug, are two scout groups of light cruisers who are to be set ahead of the surface strike group. Cross fingers. And what I've called Luftabwehr, air defense, light cruisers, to be screening the third Lug. Associated with each of these 6 is a destroyer squadron, and the destroyer is configured to be supportive of the mission. So I have some Z-130 most modern surface-to-surface 6-inch gun destroyers up with the scouts to loose off their missiles and get tangled up. I have 5-inch gun with heavy AA for the Luftabwehr. After the surface strike, we have the core of the fleet now, although the game still insists that the battle cruisers are the flagships. So we have Flug 1, in which I've put the 3 big fleet carriers screened by Luftabwehr 1, and Flug 2, 2 more of the older carriers with, again, second Luftabwehr. And then each of these 4 has a supporting destroyer division, primarily focused on air defense. And then we have the Afrika Gesvaude, the Africa group for the Mediterranean and West Africa. So this is how I'm organizing it. I'm pretty happy with that, with one little minor exception, which is, we go back here, I haven't got enough destroyers. And I've worked really, really hard in surface strike destroyers, surface-to-surface missiles, 6-inch guns, ideally, torpedo tubes, great. But my air defense has suffered, partly, of course, because I couldn't fit until now SAMs onto destroyers. Sorry, not up till now. I'm still waiting to get 3,600 ton destroyers. Though that extra 100 tons will allow me to fit SAMs. So as soon as I get that, I will be building those. So surface-to-surface strike successful. SAM and heavy AA and medium radar-directed AA less successful, partly because I can't fit the SAMs, partly because I deprecated heavy AA when in fact that wasn't the right thing to do. And now also I find the ASW values have plummeted. Now, so I'm getting 5 brackets 12, where the 5 is the real ASW value, and the 12 is the nominal ASW value. And that's on a good crew. I mean, if you look at some of these elites, here's an elite. Okay, that is getting 4 and 4. That is a new cruiser. So I'm going to have to do something about the ASW as well. Some of them don't have enhanced sonar. So if we bring up the Zs 130s, they do. So they do have an enhanced sonar system. Their ASW value is notionally 11. If I take off the increased depth charge storage, that doesn't impact it anymore. So I think increased depth charge storage is deprecated at the moment. If I take off the throwers, that also doesn't change the value. So old style depth charges are gone. It's all about the ASW mortars. It's all about the torpedoes. So there'll have to be quite an extensive upgrade program to bring these more into line as to what they should have. And if we look here, this Z116 from the Z100 class, it's an elite crew. So if we go here, it's only providing a notional 6. So if we get rid of those and we get rid of those, I mean, we save ourselves a bit of space, which is nice. We don't have an enhanced sonar system on this. Can we? Let me just go for the rebuild. No. So on some of them we can't. On some of them we seem to be able to, and I'm not entirely sure why. But regardless, no, we can't on that. I will need to attend to the ASW values of the fleet because it's gone through that step change, that mid-1950s step change. So more air defense, more ASW, fine for surface-to-surface missiles and sustained surface strike with 6-inch guns with a few torpedoes in reserve. That's all worked really, really well. So that's a bit of a, oh. So I'm just going to have a little play with the design and see what I come up with for a destroyer. But ideally, I would like to hold back until I get that 3,600 one. See, if I just take it up at 100 knots, it says, So it just has to be there. See what I can do with this. So it's just not really good enough at the moment. So 8 5-inch guns, fine. 20 heavy AA with a air director. 3 mediums. I could just take that down to 4 lights. I think the lights are pretty useless until we get close-in weapon systems. In fact, we're going to bring that down to 2. 5 torpedoes, probably could decrease that slightly. It did give us increased depth charge storage and depth charge throwers. I've taken those off. The value is at 11. I can't increase it with a helicopter yet because I can't have a helipad. So those are 2 key technologies. I need the displacement to increase to 3,600 at least, so I can put SAMs on. I need helipads so I can put helicopters on. And yeah, and yeah, the displacement may have to grow again. So I'm not quite there yet for a new class. Nonetheless, aside from that, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty certain that I am leading or joint leading with everybody else. Welcome to the Stettin. So, improved electronic gunnery computer. Well, that's always nice. The gunnery is going to get pretty ferocious with some of this. Various ships laid down, rebuilt, and commissioned. There's been a promotion. I'll just see if that affects anybody. And then nothing particularly interesting. So, yep. That's all fine for October. Oh, the other thing is some of these old destroyers are now useless for ASW. So their trade protection worth is going to be pretty marginal. I might just look to convert them to minesweepers and think again about a destroyer escort, because even here they are struggling, and oh, they do have an enhanced sonar. Hmm. Yeah. I wonder why that is so low. Again, you can take this off and you can take that off, so it gives us more space. That space really isn't the problem. We probably could fit, yeah, a helicopter in once we can have a helipad. So look forward to that. But some of these others with an ASW value of 1 should just be minesweepers these days. Let's go to November. Well, it looks like we should go and do some old-fashioned gunboat diplomacy, get some prestige, increase the budget, and wildly increase tensions with somebody or other. So there's aluminum, as a superstructure. So that's nice. That will help the destroyers. Anti-ship missile decoys. Come on, scientists, do better. Okay, so now we've got a nice, healthy monthly balance of over 7,000. We just haven't very got much to spend it on. So I'm just going to have a look at the bottom end of the fleet and see if I'm happy with that. So first up, there's the Leopard class of corvettes, last modernized in 42. I'm just going to turn them into minesweepers. They have a notional ASW value of 3. I've taken off the depth charges. I can't fit an enhanced sonar. So let's save and finish that one. I just made the accommodation into spacious so that it removes one of the messages here. So, it's still cold, the fire control's dreadful, it's short range, and it doesn't have the best radar. It's only got one job. So let's go do all of those 12. So 12 more minesweepers, a bit rubbish, but there you go. Be nice if the game modeled mine warfare in a little bit more detail with the different types of influence mines and with the need to go mine hunting, and mines going from tens of thousands of contact mines to much smaller number of much more sophisticated mines that you'd have to go and deal with. So next up, I've got these Z5s from the same era. Let's just go and get rid of that and get rid of that and add that, and possibly just get rid of the ASW mortar as well, because it's not really doing anything. So yeah, purely mines and mine warfare. I mean, I could have got rid of one of the guns as well. Put the accommodation to spacious, and yeah, no need for light anti-aircraft guns. No one's going to attack it. So same sorts of warnings. At least it's medium. But the short range is fine, just for pottering around in northern waters. And then let's have a look at the Reef class and see what we can do with these. So again, just simple stuff to make them into more minesweepers. Minesweeping is good. We won't be short of a minesweeper or 2. So, oh, didn't I do all of them? Yes, there are. So let's do them to the same standard. Then these Z13s, old destroyers from 1918 again. See, If you look at the maintenance, it jumps up to 37. And I wonder if just to scrap them, you know, and the same with the Condors. We need a new destroyer escort. So let me try and design that, and then I can take a view as to whether to scrap them. So let's have a little look at the Immanuel Kant from 53. I mean, these aren't great, even though they have one. So let's go from fresh, shall we? So design, destroyer. So first of all, let's go to yep and yep and yep. So that all looks as good as it can be for that. It's given them surface missiles, which I'm not really interested in, so I'm going to clear those. It's given me guns that I'm not interested in as well. So let's delete that and delete that. And actually delete that as well. We don't need any of that or this or that. We do need spacious. Speed, let's keep it about 26. Set it to diesel, set it to reliable. What would be like on long range? You could even set it to long. And yeah, still 600 available, but then, you know, if we bring this down a fair bit, is this still fine? Yeah, that's still all fine. It's not invalidating the enhanced sonar, so far as I can see. Let's bring that down to 1500. Okay. Weight's getting tight, so I'll probably take the long off. That was just a little luxury. So 300 with a hangar and an airplane, yeah, that should be fine when we can do that. I mean, if I do it now and a hangar and say, yeah, I have to stop and launch. So it's still not doing helicopters, but actually if I do the hangar and then I do 2, then yeah, we're still fine. So I can add helicopters at a later date. The notional ASW is 11. Can't see anything else to add there. So let's save and finish this. That's all fine. Actually, just give it a better name, shall we? No unused names. Oh, let's call it the Z1 and see if we can get away with that. Name is used for an existing or submarine. Well, I didn't know that. How about 10? Okay. So that at least is underway, and yes, I can get rid of these Z13s that are a little bit too high maintenance for the worth that they're bringing. And I also can get rid of these Condors that are the same generation and also not adding a lot to the party. And then even if I was feeling in a scrappy mood, these Z29s, yeah, because you compare them to the Immanuel Kants with a maintenance 20, these Z29s have a maintenance of 32. They, you know, they are kind of proper destroyers. So let's just see if there was anything I could do to bring them up to date. I think the answer is no. So we'll let go of those as well. Let's scrap that. Okay, farewell old historic ships. Hello, new slim trim navy when we get some of these crucial research techs through. A couple of ships finish working up, that will help. Which country is most likely to be an enemy in a future war? Well, it's clearly Britain, without a doubt. Oh, missiles, submarines. Okay, well that's definitely going to be a bit of a thing there. Anti-missile decoys still struggling. Come on, boys, let's do better. News. So France has increased its budget. Otherwise, not a great deal. Some more promotions. Some below average has been put in the third destroyers. I don't think so. So an admiral's has shown himself of average ability. Could be worse. I don't think average, if they just said competent or something, that would sound much, much better. So yeah, just need to have a quick look at some of these officers. Officers, sort by ability, resort. So no incompetence, hooray. Actually, if we just sort by rank after that. So lots of below average admirals. So I'm very glad that the admirals we're actually using are average or above average. And a well-connected sportsman as well. Wow, what a guy. Some rear admirals that are below average. Don't like the look of any of them. Then we have some who are average. We have a new above average that we're not using. So that feels like somebody we might want to use. So we have an average gunnery expert in the first scouting group, which is fine because that's very much surface action. We have a gunnery expert in the first and second linens, the heavy cruisers and the battle cruisers, totally appropriate. We have an aviator in the second flug. We have an above one on the first. So we might promote this chap and get him to take charge of the second flug 2. And yeah, that seems the right thing to do. So 2 above averages with our carriers, 1 average, which is fine. Oh, we have an aviator average, so let's make them into the third. Great. So that's all nice for that. And then, yeah, we have this below average for the third destroyers, which I'm not happy about. I'm going to just check. So the third destroyers is too minor a place. So we have this spare average, and I'm going to assign him to the third destroyers. Okay. Let's just go by ability. So the above averages are all used up. There's 1 or 2 spare rear admirals on the average. We're not using any below averages. We've got this Stettin person. So we want to swap them for a nice, young, dashing, yeah, look, 1 year in service. So reassign to, oh no, he can't be a captain sur sea and commander like cruiser. It's got to be a fregatten captain. Okay, so let's do this one then. And reassign to Stettin. There we go. So yeah, it's slight micromanage, but it's really just trimming as far as possible. Right, let's take it into 1956. A delegation of the Major complains, and keeping risk of reducing our capacity. All right. More money for the Navy. Hooray. Well, that's a way to start the year. A spy from France. Well, obviously maximum publicity. And shipboard airport allow ships to be equipped with a helipad. With a helipad. Right, well, we'll call it for this episode. We'll start the next episode with a review of 55 and the design of some ASW destroyers and destroyer escorts with helicopters, as well as possibly the redesign of the, I think it's the Gneisenauer, which has a lot of float planes on, which may be getting a lot of helicopters. So helicopter-tastic time in 1956. Oh, I thought that was it. I was just about to, well, I just wrapped up, but Heavy Sams as well. Wonderful. And a little bit of news. I was so excited by helipads that I'd completely not noticed some of this. So we have a captain who's brilliant. Do we now? So we'll be seeing what he's doing and why he isn't commanding something. So let's go to ability and brilliant. Wow, he's a rate of fire enthusiast, but more importantly, he's an aviator. Right. So let's assign him to a nice carrier type place. So who can we replace? So I think I'm going to assign him to Ellie Bernholm and then take that captain and put them onto the carrier with a question mark. There we have them. And the carrier with a question mark is the Otto Leithenthal. So there we go. Let's just check special ability. So we have a below average aviator, but I don't think we really need that. And then, yeah, we have a rear admiral in charge of the third flug. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 captains of carriers with aviators, and then the rest of the captains are all pretty good in various ways. So yeah, happy with that. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we'll review 1955, and we will look forward to developing new destroyer escorts, new fleet destroyers, looking at the heavy cruisers and possibly the battle cruisers using heavy SAMs. It's going to be heavy SAMs and helicopter pads all over the place. Thanks very much. See you next time.